Hey, so as I said, I think in one of my previous videos, I'm learning this as I go along. I'm experimenting. I'm playing with sound and learning about how synthesis works. I'm doing it with the help of a couple of books. This one by Mark Jenkins. I mainly bought this because it's got lots of lovely stuff about actual synthesizers, but it does start off with some really helpful stuff around synthesis. And then this one, which is pretty comprehensive, if I'm honest with you. And I've started looking at it. It also has an online resource. It's really good. So they're the things I'm using to learn and develop. Oh, I'm also looking at YouTube videos. Automatic Gainsy is particularly good for learning, talking through each section of a synthesizer and how they all fit together. I think I mentioned even before that some of the demonstrations that I've seen have been really good just about synthesis. But the main thing I am using is just getting these and just diving in. I'm that kind of learner. I like to just get my hands on stuff. So I wanted to do a quick video to show you how actually with very little knowledge, I have no idea what I'm doing, you can actually get some pretty okay sounds out of something like the Matrixbrute. I think it's designed for creative individuals to just play and get some decent sounds out of without having to understand fully everything that's going on. It's nice to understand what's going on, and I'm sure a lot of people out there will understand what's going on, certainly a lot more than me. But you can get great results with very little. So I'm going to play with a preset, and then maybe after that I'll create some and play those as well. All right. I just thought I'd show you how really easy it is to make a sound on the Beast. Just a simple. So that's what we're sort of starting with. We'll twiddle with some knobs on the first oscillator. Let's adjust the sort of length and playing style of the note. And then we can adjust okay, so that gives us a simple starting point. Say we wanted to make this sound sort of phase in and out of tune a little bit, so it sort of gives it a real vintagey, analogy feel. There's no way we would send one of the low frequency oscillators to somewhere over here to modulate something, to change it. But the beauty of this is, even though there isn't one on the matrix here, you can create it. So I'd press that and then twiddle with this knob up here. Oh no, I wouldn't. I'd first do that for mod, and then I would press that and then do that. And as you can see, it's now saying that on preset 13 is now set to VCO1 fine. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send low frequency oscillator 1 to the fine tuning of the voltage controlled oscillator 1, and then adjust it to see how much do I. And you should be able to hear it slightly phase out of tune there. So if I come down to the LFO here and say I want to change the rate of that, maybe even sync the rate of that, you should be able to hear it. Actually, I want it to be, well, yeah. So it drifts in and out using the sine wave, and we can make that as pronounced or as subtle as possible. Subtle or pronounced. Maybe subtle is better. A bit of the sub oscillator there. Give the sound a bit of depth perhaps by popping in a bit of delay. It's not gonna change the world, but it's quite interesting how just a simple, tweaking like sort of a couple of little knobs and sending one thing to another thing can create something that's usable. That's, as I say, it's not gonna rock anyone's world, but it's, you can do it really quickly. I think what I've learned is don't be afraid of the beast, dive into the beast, and that's really yummy. So that is a slight setting on fine-tuning, using the sub-oscillator, playing with some of the various waveforms, running this is just on one oscillator, running through both the Steiner-Parker filter and the ladder filter, and just mucking around with the master cutoff, and then sending the low frequency there we are the LFO1 low frequency oscillator 1, setting it as a sine wave, so it's like a wow thing. I'm not 100% sure what these do yet. Rate is obvious. It's how often it happens. Phase, to me, phasing is when things come in and out. So maybe that's true or not, I don't know. Let's try something in a minute and see. And all I've done is then go to the glorious, gorgeous mod matrix and sent that low frequency oscillator 1 to number 13, which is what I set as the fine tuning. And then added through the analog effects a bit of delay. Simple. Yeah, not exactly. could, I think, send the same LFO to both the filters, so that's the Steiner Parker, and then sending it also to the ladder cutoff, but in opposite directions. So take those off. What do you get? Sort of fairly straight tone, and then put those back on. You get sort of things coming out of phase. That's really interesting. And then if you perhaps decided to change the way the filter was working, so on the Steiner Parker, pop in to high pass, so that means only the top frequencies will get through, and leave the ladder filter to low pass. Let's see what that does. Again, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it's just interesting, the fact that you can get so much out of this thing by just doing so little, to be honest with you. And it does sound magnificent. So there you go. That's me having a first muck around, creating a bit of a preset that I probably won't save, let's be honest. But yeah, okay.